Have you been dealing with weight loss struggles for over 15 years? Is your body resistant to fat loss? Watch this.
Our first caller is Caitlyn from California.
Hi, Caitlyn. How can we help you?
Hello, how are you guys doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
Good morning.
Doing good. First off, just want to say thank you guys for talking to me today. My friend Katie introduced me to you guys a couple years ago, and I've been a fan and a listener ever since, and really appreciate all your guys' advice.
Thank you so much. How can we help?
So, I am like that client you guys have talked about, that I seem to have been on a diet like my whole life. And now that I've tried to actually do things the right way, I haven't seen any movement in fat loss or weight loss. So to give a little background, I started my first diet in 6th grade doing Weight Watchers. It was successful, lost weight super easily. And that, cycle kind of continued on for years, just, slowly gaining the weight back and then cutting calories and the whole thing. And then led up until, into my 20s, doing the same thing. And then when was somewhere in my 20s, I did this 6-week, 20-pound weight loss boot camp. Couldn't lose the 20 pounds, but did pretty okay. But immediately, it wasn't long-term. Like, it was such a short-term process. And so finally, leading up to my wedding, cut calories again. And then after that, it seemed like once I got settled back from the honeymoon, I finally weighed myself after a few months or whatever. I wasn't trying to stress about that. And my weight had gone up 10 pounds. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm just, fluctuating, getting back from the honeymoon, things like that. But it seemed like a lot. And so from there, I was just so sick of cutting calories and not eating enough. And so I was like, I just want to do this right. So starting last January, I bought a walking pad for my desk at work so I could get in, at least 10,000 steps while I was at work that day. And then I set myself water goals. I was drinking 80 to 100 ounces of water a day. I've always done strength training ever since I stopped going to the boot camp, which was obviously HIIT workouts. But my work has a gym. So since 2021, I worked out in the gym Monday through Thursday. And then we even have a trainer in the gym on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And last January, I hired a virtual health coach that she created me food plans. And so I was like, okay, that's probably just the missing piece. It's just the diet. So I did that with her until August, almost September. And I couldn't lose more than 2 to 3 pounds. And so with her, my calories, I think she started me on 1,900 calories. And after a month or so, I was like, hey, can we drop the calories? Just not seeing any difference. So she wanted to just slowly drop it to 17. And I was getting about 124 grams of protein, 187 grams of carbs, and 48 grams of fat a day. And still just was not seeing any results. On top of that, I get good sleep. I sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. Not very stressed. The only thing that honestly stresses me out is not losing weight. And I even tested all my hormones and got off birth control, that whole thing, and kind of waited. It's almost been a year off of that, and didn't really see any change from that either. So I was just seeing if you guys had any advice, if you can tell, from your outside opinion, if there's something I'm doing wrong, if something else I should be doing, or I would just love some advice.
Yeah. Well, first I want to tell you, I'm sorry you had to go through that since 6th grade and this kind of up and down. That's a really challenging thing to deal with at, 6th grade. You're probably 11 years old. And that set a lot of things kind of cemented certain behaviors or feelings you maybe had about yourself. I can tell you what's happening physiologically, but it's not going to fix the problem. This is coming from something else, and I think it's a place that you're probably either resistant to look at or haven't tackled 100% yet. Okay. Physiologically, your body's resistant to losing weight because you've played this game so many times where you've cut your calories and lost some weight, and then kind of came out of it a little bit and tried to live a normal life or what felt normal, and the weight comes back, and so your body now is physiologically is afraid of losing weight unless you drop your calories to an unsustainable level. That can be reversed physiologically. It'll take a little bit of time. Okay, but that can be reversed physiologically. Now, the root issue here, which we could start to touch on right now. Let me ask you, what's the main goal for you through this? And you're going to say weight loss, but what's the feeling you're looking for?
I mean, I feel like since I gained the weight, my self-confidence has gone down a lot. So obviously some more confidence, just feeling better overall.
So you want to feel good?
Yeah.
Good about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think you're worthy of feeling like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, congratulations. You can feel that way. You can feel that way right now. And I'm telling you this because if we don't get there, this battle, this struggle is always going to be a battle. It's always going to elude you, this goal, this focus. Here's the other side of it that I want you to think about, because you're telling us a lot of you've been working with a trainer and you're working with a nutrition coach. And I, by the way, at the end of this, I'll tell you what I think you should do when it comes to your approach. But like I said, I don't think that's really the root issue. Okay. During that process of strength training, and you're doing traditional strength training, right? Like you do a set, rest, do a set. Okay. Besides the scale, besides the weight loss and the disappointment around that, are there any other changes or things that you've noticed in yourself that you can think of that are positive or good?
Consistency, never giving up.
What about physically? Do you feel stronger?
Yeah. I mean, I broke my wrist in September and was literally already back in the gym 2 days later.
Awesome.
I didn't let it stop me. I feel really strong. I don't feel weak at all.
How's your energy?
And I feel like I keep getting stronger, but just no changes.
There's no but here. This is independent of the other goal that you have. Okay. Do you feel more energy?
Yeah, I have great energy.
Good. So I want you to start to focus on, because there's a whole basket of benefits that can come from starting to take care of yourself in a good way. And one of those things, and it's a very small thing, is that your body fat percentage or your weight starts to reflect it. But what happens is we focus so heavily on that one thing and we ignore the other stuff that we create this distorted view of our progress. So you may look at the last year and see that the weight hasn't changed, and you may say to yourself, that's a complete failure. But that's not correct. That's not accurate. You might have gotten stronger. Your energy might be better. You might have achieved a new consistency. You might start to change your attitude towards exercise and maybe yourself. So there's all those amazing things. Now, why am I talking about that? Because if you don't place your focus there, no matter what I'm about to tell you will not work. Okay, it's just not going to work. I can give you the perfect answer right now, and I promise you it won't work if you don't do that first, because you're not going to get what you think you want from the scale going down. So you may actually get to that goal, and then you're going to find yourself with this I hit my goal, but it's not what I thought, and I don't feel the same, and what's going on, and I'm going to go back again, and you might not even be might not even be a conscious thing. Now, all right. What would the approach be? Probably what you've heard us say many times: a slow reverse diet, focusing on building strength, focusing on athletic performance in the gym, throwing the scale away, not weighing yourself, and giving your body a chance to speed up its metabolism, giving your body a chance to get into a place where then you can lose weight and keep it off sustainably.
I have a question. You mentioned that you had a trainer who put you at 1,900 calories and you guys weren't really moving weight loss, and then you had her cut you down to 17. When was the last time you would say you were eating 2,400 calories or more consistently?
I don't know if I've ever put it that high.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We just need to reverse diet and focus on strength and not worry about being at 2,300, 2,400 calories. It's not going to put on, if you're lifting weights, you're walking like you are, you're getting good sleep, and we're eating 2,400 calories, even if you see weight on the scale stay the same or go up, you're not putting fat on. I promise that. You're not getting fatter from that. So getting rid of the scale, which you've probably heard us say a million times on this podcast, is definitely something that I would suggest that you do. And then Sal's right. The advice is, and I don't know if you're following a MAPS program. I know you're following. Have you followed any of our programs yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's the other thing we're going to solve. Because sometimes you know, and I don't know this trainer or who's got your program. I mean, it may be simply changing your workout more appropriate to what you need, really focusing on getting strong, getting your calories up to where they need to be, and keeping them there consistent, and not allowing, oh my God, the scale hasn't gone down in a month, I must have to lower my calories. It doesn't work that way. I mean, and it's interesting that that we've met you right now. You actually remind me of my very last client that I ever chose to take on when I was when I was still training clients. And I took her on because she had almost an identical story as you did. And in addition to that, she had a kinesiology degree and was a nurse. So she knew her shit, right? So I was like, okay.
I have a master's in public health too.
Oh, okay. So this is like, you guys literally would be just best of friends. You guys actually kind of look alike too, which is kind of great. So you guys, this girl, Tracy, and I actually took her on because she told her story just like you. And I'm like, oh, this will be a challenge for me. This will be a good client for me to have. And it took us a while to get this mindset. And I just, the advice Sal gave is exactly what I had her do. Is I just want you to keep walking. We're going to get strong. I weighed her, but I made her turn around so I could just see. And the only reason why I wanted to see the scale weight is just because I wanted to monitor as I was increasing calories, but I wouldn't let her see it. And I had to and it did take us a good 6 months of staying in this kind of reverse diet before she started to feel like she was moving in the right direction. Now, I knew we were building muscle and I knew she was getting better, but she didn't feel that way. She just felt like, oh, I just have this layer of fat on me. I don't see like I'm getting any progress, but I knew we were because we were seeing strength gains in the gym. She was getting stronger. I was feeding her more than she'd ever eaten before. And that was the goal. And I got her all the way up to about 2,600 calories before I let her reverse back the other way. And then we came back down to 21, and she actually started to see like her first like weight loss that felt easy to her for the first time ever. I put her at a calorie place that she had never been high. It was high. That would be considered high for her. And she saw the weight coming off. And that was all I needed to do to get her to believe in me that this is the process. And then we actually went back to reversing and adding more calories and no more weight loss. But I gave her that little diet break so she could see, look at what you've accomplished already. We got you to 2,600 calories. You didn't feel like you've really done anything, but I'm telling you, you put some muscle on, you sped your metabolism up. Then I brought her down to 2,100 and she just started to drop. I mean, she dropped weight better than she'd ever done before. And it was really just for me to say, look, this is what we're doing, okay? We're building this metabolism up from years and decades of you eating in this kind of yo-yo diet pattern. I've got to break that from you, and we got to break those habits. And so, long story short, she ended up losing like 100 pounds with me. But it did take us a long time. It really did. Now, luckily, I had the wherewithal to show her what we were doing, and she was smart and she understood, like, okay, I get it. I trust you now. And once I had that trust, then it was just a matter of chipping away, because she, like you, was disciplined, consistent, smart, and exactly same story. This happened from 6th grade. You know, her parents put her on a weight loss program, and then ever since then she'd battled with it. And she has an athletic background. She played softball. She was active. So it was a major challenge for us. But a lot of it was the mental hurdle of getting past that. I'm putting this work in, and I need to see this consistent weight loss. So, I mean, I'm thinking anabolic. Are you thinking? Yeah,
MAPS anabolic would be the perfect routine for you. You can maintain your walking. I think that's perfectly fine. It's good for you. It's, trying to move to burn calories, lose weight is it's not a very successful approach, but from a health perspective, which is what we want, I think that's going to be really good.
I also heard you say that you have this kind of Monday through Thursday routine in the gym. I want to encourage you to, you've probably heard me say this, win the weekends, is make a real conscious effort that, just because you do great Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday, to not kind of let yourself be like, oh, I won't worry about, exactly tracking on the weekend, or, oh, maybe that'll be when I take off. I actually want you to shift your focus on those weekend days as the priority. And if you take a day off in the gym or you don't do something, make it in the weekday. That'll help. That'll help also with consistency and head in the right direction. Is have the attitude of win the weekend, follow the MAPS Anabolic program, and I'd like you to increase your calories and not get on the scale. And I'd like to see like 2,100 like right now.
Yeah, Caitlyn, are you in our forum?
No.
Okay, I'm going to put you in there for support. And then, is it feasible for you to work with someone that can help coach you with your relationship to yourself? Because this is a very important piece of the puzzle. Most trainers and diet coaches aren't well versed in this. Some are, but very rarely. It's pretty rare to find someone that can do this as well. I think it would be very beneficial for you to meet with someone once a week. Typically, it's a therapist, and you approach them with this specific issue and say, "Look, here's the deal. I've struggled with dieting on and off, and body image issues, or just a relationship with myself. This is really hard for me." They're not going to give you a diet. They're not going to give you a workout, but they're going to work on the piece that's leading to all of these challenges. And then just to kind of back up with what Adam's saying, our bodies are incredible adaptation machines. And if you've dieted on and off since you were 11, your body expects it to keep happening. And what it's learned to do is become very resistant to weight loss from dropping calories. This is not permanent. But it's resistant, which means it's going to take a little while. So if you want to solve this forever, if you're like, look, I'm done with this. Like, you look very young, but you've probably been dealing with this for a little while since you were in 6th grade. So you look like you're in your early 20s.
Thanks, I'm 30.
Okay. So, wow. All right. Well, there you go. You look great. So, okay. So you've been dealing with this for almost 20 years. It's like, if you're done with this, and you're like, look, I don't want to live my life dealing with this shit anymore. I want it to be done. I want to be fixed. I want this to be over. You have to do this differently. That means it's not the diet and the workout. The diet and the workout are the small part of it. The big part of it is, what is the root? What is the reason why your relationship with yourself is causing you so much challenge and struggle around this? And why is it so hard for you to accept yourself through these different stages? Why is it that you only feel good when the scale is going down and you feel bad when the scale is going up? And why is your happiness so tied to this arbitrary number that is reflected when you stand on this, digital machine or whatever? So if you can find somebody, I really, really recommend this. I have worked with clients who have also simultaneously worked with therapists who've done this. And it was the most successful approach I ever had is when there was a combination of me, trainer, diet, therapist, and the clients that did this were like, it was like I knew we were going to succeed. I knew it. So if you can do that,
yeah,
that's going to be the most powerful thing. That'll be the most powerful thing that you do. It's going to be tough because you're going to have to go through it. Whatever it is that you're avoiding, you got to go through it. But that's the only way. That's the only way. And if you're ready for it, then that's what I highly recommend.
Awesome. I could definitely do that.
Okay.
I think that would help.
Yes.
And then check in with us in the forum.
Please.
I'd love to hear little updates every couple weeks from you, letting us know how the strength, and what I care about is how you feel, your strength, how the workouts are going.
And go in there with your challenges. There's a lot of people in there that will post stuff like this. They'll be like, oh my God, guys, I've been doing this for 2 months. I know I'm moving in the right direction. I'm so frustrated though. I still feel like, I got to lose. Like what? And then you'll get people who get on there who are like, I did the same thing 2 years ago. Here's where I am now. It's totally worth it type of deal. It's very supportive. So please post in there.
Please get in there.
Awesome. Definitely. Thank you guys so much.
All right.
You got it, Caitlyn. Thank you so much.
Look forward to it, Caitlyn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's calls like that make me want to train people again.
She's 100%. Yeah. I mean, damn near like spot on. Even age looks like her. This girl Tracy, who's become a good friend of mine. Who I was done training clients. I was just doing management stuff like that, and I had already had my handful of people that I took care of that I had for years. You know how that is when you get that. And I hadn't taken a client in a while. And I was, she was at the, and I heard her story just like this, except the only difference was Tracy was also playing softball, rec ball, and was a nurse moving all day.
Just couldn't figure it out.
And just couldn't figure it out, and just smart. And it's same thing. She's told me that since she was in 6th grade, she had battled, and her parents put her on a Weight Watchers thing. Same thing. But I just want to remind her, it did take us a long time, man. It really did. It was one of the longer success stories that I ever had. And a lot of that was getting her to trust the process and allow me to build a metabolism, to break through these, as soon as I get frustrated, I don't feel like I can go anywhere. I want to cut calories.
That's why I want her to work with someone, because she could take our advice, but not having someone there to help bring her back to here's what you need to do. It's going to be very hard to do. She's so stuck in this pattern, it's been with her for years.
A lot of times addressing that negative self-talk and that self-sabotaging kind of behavior, you're going to keep spinning your tires until you really face that. And I think that this is a conversation I've had with a lot of my friends who've gone through this process where it's like you do everything and you're really on track and you're still not breaking through.
I do want to let her know though something, because you guys your advice is spot on, but something that was really interesting about Tracy also was, and she kind of reminds me of this, she didn't come off like she didn't have this trauma. She didn't really beat herself up. She has a great fucking attitude and personality. She used to joke about us, her weight. No, I don't give a shit. She had a great attitude and had great spirit, and
just the wrong formula.
Exactly. Yeah. Wrong formula, and also so long.
And
that's
probably also,
if that's the case, right?
And often
now you just change it up.
Yeah, and often you disconnect from the bad feelings, because on top of everything else, you're like, I'm good.
Right. And that could have easily been true, right? I don't think she doesn't realize it or whatever like that. But I mean, because I don't want her to get hung up on thinking there's this trauma that I have to have buried, or there's some issue.
The trauma is, first of all, maybe there is, but if there isn't, this is the trauma. The trauma is, I went on a diet when I was 11.
Right.
I tied my self-worth to it. I keep failing. It's been 20 years of this struggle.
Well, and it was
that's the
reinforced
trauma
from parents telling her there was a problem, right? So that's going to stick with you.
Totally.